I know, get it.
Yeah. I don't know how loud you guys can hear this on the other side.
Sounds good to me.
We are live. It is January 20th. You know, it's funny. I always have to look at my calendar. I have to look at my I have no clue. You could look, we worked on Monday because I didn't even know it was a holiday.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody either. I had uh-oh. Am I getting my own feedback? Probably. All right, I just muted. Yeah, that was me. My bad. My bad. Anyways, yeah. Talking to a peer of mine in the industry, he's like, "Well, haven't you set up like holidays?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course. I set that up like day one." He's like, "What are they?" I'm like, "They're bank holidays."
Christmas.
Goes, no, well, I mean, there's quite a bit. You know, I just follow the banks. The banks are closed. We're gonna take off. He's like, Martin Luther King. I was like, I know. It hit me like in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We're a small business, dude. We got too much stuff going on. Like,
yeah, I didn't take it off. We were jamming.
No, I went and bought $330 worth of snacks and drinks for the break room.
Celebrate the king.
You know what I mean? Like, I do this all the time, so I don't hear a whole lot of complaining a lot of times.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was like, oh yeah, it's a holiday. I mean, I was enjoying the day. I put out a great post. I love Martin Luther King. I've read a few of his books. I mean, the guy's history is amazing. His whole family history is amazing.
Incredible.
But I was like, oh yeah, it's a holiday. Oops.
Yeah, we just don't even like, you know, we celebrate and we work. It's best of both worlds.
I don't know if you can tell this, but Krista and I are in two different parts of the country. I'm freezing.
And I'm sweating.
Yeah, not cool, right? Not cool. Anyways, you guys, I'm glad you're here. Do us a favor, and they're coming in, Facebook user, which means it's coming off of one of our exclusive groups. And unfortunately, StreamYard doesn't understand how to feed that in. But anyways, Mr. Facebook user, thank you for being here and dropping a hashtag live. If this is your first time watching Lunch Talk, then you are in for a treat. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna get into it, but today we've got a nice little topic that I think would be great for all you guys. So it's defining leadership. So we were doing some research, and I was looking at some stuff and found some surveys that were out there, and I wanted to really kind of bring those out to you guys because what I was getting was there was these 5 qualities of a good leader, and the top 5 qualities, don't worry about putting these up yet, Donnie, of a good leader was number 1, goal-oriented, 2, confident, 3, knowledgeable and curious, 4 was being efficient, and 5 was adapting to change easily. I agree with some of these, but there were some other areas that I thought would have been a little bit, you know, maybe more something to spotlight, but I wanted us to have a conversation and get into it and kind of lead in some things. So, because we're putting out some other material, we're giving those away. The 11 rules for leaders is done. We're getting ready to put that out here for you guys to start grabbing. So there's a lot of good stuff going in. Krista, give us a quick update. How was your week?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. I had 9 ball games. My son won a championship baseball game, 7 hours of baseball in a row. He pitched, he caught, he freaking smashed the ball. But here I am again, mom life hungover. Just when I start to feel like, all right, cool, we're good. Guess what? We go into another weekend and the whole thing starts all over again. So,
oh my goodness. Yeah. When we had the kids doing wrestling, that was something. We never did multiple sports. Well, they would do like martial arts and wrestling, but
yeah.
But Michelle and I got like right away, we were like, so here's the deal. We're not doing this whole multiple sport.
Yeah.
Like, you guys all have to do the same thing or
no. Well, and so here's my issue, Rigo. I've got a little guy in the middle. So if my girls were the same age as my daughter and my son,
yeah,
cool, let's do this, right? Like we would play them, you know, but when the little guy is smack dab in the middle,
no, you just care more about your kids. I don't. Well, I'm just being real. I don't care. I'm like,
in your defense, Rigo, I have 50.
I couldn't hear you over Donnie's horn. What were you saying?
in your defense,
Wrong show, Don.
I have 50% less children than you do. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I've always seemed to have fairly long hours. I'm a, you know what? Hi, my name is Rigo, and I'm a workaholic.
No, you're a love a workaholic.
Listen, if I could sleep here, I would.
I know.
I love working. I love my family too. It's a very difficult thing for me. But the bigger they get, the more complicated they are. And I'm like, I think I have like a paper to write or something to do. It's easy to do. It's easy to
back
do.
After once they're in bed, I'll be back. I'll kiss everybody goodnight.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know what? It is crazy. Having 6 children is not easy.
No.
I don't know how my wife does it.
Well, we've said this before. She's going straight to heaven.
Yeah, I know that. I already know that. If I get to go, it's on a pass. It's like you're admitted plus. I'm a +1, right? I'm a +1. I'm just being real, guys. I'm a +1. I ain't getting there on my own. I am not nice. I work very hard. That I do, but I don't know. I guess I'm okay. I have my goods and bads.
I mean, we all do.
But yeah, no, she floats. I watch her walk around the house. She floats. She's a saint.
She glides all
over
the place.
So anyways, enough about that. So, all right, what are we doing? 5 qualities.
5 qualities.
I'm not going to post. I'm not putting that up. How's that? There's some comments coming in. I'm not putting those up. Donnie, thank you.
Paul,
I'm like, no.
Write down, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, again, what we were going to do, and as I was starting to look into this, it was about defining leadership. So, what I'm going to do is I'm pulling up my notes here. So, how do you know if you're a good leader? And so a leader is somebody who's capable of making different types of decisions and is a role model for the people that follow him. Him or her, excuse me.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm just reading my notes. And of course, I'm speaking in like third person. So I'm writing on me, right? I'm not doing him or her. It's funny. I was putting together here we go, tangent. We're doing some more hiring. We just got a couple folks in, going well, trying to get another a business admin in. And so I was putting together the job description yesterday, and I just think it's funny because, it's him or her, him or her, him or her. Like, I don't care. I really don't. If you're going to be good, you're going to be good. I can care less. But yeah, as I'm reading my notes here, it was his and him. So sorry. Sorry out there, guys. Anyways, but not everyone is inherently has the ability to be a good leader. Many different traits make a good leader, and we're going to go over through 5 of them. So, it's interesting, and I want to get your thoughts on this one, Krista. Do you think that leadership is something that can or cannot be taught?
Oh man. So this goes way back to, I remember sitting in my high school gym with my volleyball coach at the time. And he's like he was a father figure for me in school. And my take was always that you were born a leader, that it was not something that you could learn. I think that I thought that innately you were born with these qualities and you were born with this ability to lead. And I feel like as I get older, that is no longer my stance.
Okay, so what do you feel now? Just to pause there.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said about natural leadership abilities. What I do also think what a lot of times we forget, there's a site here on LinkedIn's got a great one. It's called Leadership First, all kinds of great quotes. There's a new one coming out too. It's called Contagious Leadership. You should start following that one. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, but the thing is we fail to realize that leadership doesn't necessarily mean positive leadership.
Correct.
And so I want to get into that a little bit because there's been some incredible, if you want to look at leadership tactics, some of the worst human beings on the planet are the best teachers.
Yeah.
You don't get people to stand behind the most disgusting things you can do to humans without being a good leader. Just throwing that out there.
Without not even a good, so maybe good is the wrong word, without being an effective and efficient, because that was
what are we defining as good? Leadership, the skill set to get people to follow you. If you're good at it, you're good at it. It doesn't mean you're doing good things.
True.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that we're not spending enough time talking about. You can be very good at being a leader.
Yeah.
The purpose of what you're doing could be very bad.
Correct. And I agree with that. And I feel like I do feel, and so that is kind of where that switch happened for me, where I was like, you can be born a leader, but I am very much of the school of growth and action oriented mindset. So I do believe that even if you are born with this idea of I am who I am and I cannot be changed, there can be a mentor that comes along. One of the gentlemen that we spoke to, Rigo, and his name is totally escaping me. He went to prison. He went to prison and like totally changed his life.
Sean.
Yes.
Yeah. Sean Crane. Sean Crane.
Yes. And so, you know, there was a moment in his life that was pivotal in him shifting gears and really stepping into his leadership role and really stepping into his purpose and leading from that place. But I still think that there was a leadership piece in him. Yes. But I do think that it can be cultivated and magnified. So that's a tricky question. That's like the chicken and egg.
All right. So you said I was pretty sure there was a time when I thought that leadership was inherently.
Yep. You had it or you didn't.
You had it or you didn't. Now, where has that shifted and why?
Now I believe that the more and more that I learn about the brain and the more and more that I learn about habits and the more and more that I learn about higher level thinking, I believe that even if you are born without these skills or this characteristic, I believe that you can use your other strengths to create your own kind of leader. So I think that there's a lot of different levels and types of leadership. So when I was younger, Rigo, I thought leadership meant courageous, bold, loud, in your face, everybody follows. And as I've gotten older, I realized that there is different types of leadership. So although what I classified and characterized as leadership, I, in my young brain, did not see the levels and the layers and the different types of leadership. So now as I grow and I understand these things more, I believe that we're all born leaders in our own way, in our own voice, in our own volume, in our own courage. It's just whether it's cultivated to a level of showing up or not. That's my take on it.
Okay.
What's yours? Tell me.
That's what we're going to get into that.
Okay.
We're going to get into that. I'm actually approaching today's conversation with a completely open mind. I'm really looking for those of you who are watching to engage with us today. I'm truly asking. We get a lot of visitors that are coming in on the show every time. I'll tell you this. Right now, the analytics have been really good on this, and it's surprising. I didn't do this because I really have not ever just did this to start to see how many followers. You can't help it though. When you start, you're like, I wonder how many people are on, and like we have a pretty good engagement. Most of you guys are staying on an average of about 21, 22 minutes. That's a pretty long time. It's an hour show. I don't expect you to sit in on the whole thing. Now we know we've got a couple like OGs.
Lifers.
Like we love you guys. You know who you are, David Paul, right? Like, there's a few of you out there that we are so grateful, and I think that you guys look forward to this, and it means a lot to us. So, but we get like around 150, 190 people that will catch this show in the lifespan of that hour. I'm not talking about later. So what gets me is you're not chatting.
Okay? We want to. Yeah.
And this whole show gets way better when you give some insight. So I'm not here telling anybody what's 5 characteristics of a good leader. I'm telling you what people are saying are 5 characteristics of a good leader in a consensus. And the more I think about leadership and I look at myself as an example and others, especially myself, because I could rip myself apart, all the good, all the bad. And I can say, how is it possible that I can do this, but then do that? How can I not be good in here, but be good there? And it makes me start to think. It makes me start to think. And you mentioned some things, the psychology of a mind, of people, of how you lead, how you bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are times, I got asked the question the other day and I brought it up to my team. Do you consider yourself an introvert or extrovert?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here, but I want to know from you, Krista, being honest.
Yeah.
Not what people see, not the coach. Maybe it's all in one, but are you an extrovert or introvert?
I mean, so here's how I like
how you take okay, so it's like, all right, so we're getting into.
So here's how I have solidified that I am an extrovert. Okay. So I heard it this way during quarantine, actually. So not very long ago when we were in quarantine. So it has been said that an extrovert, when they go out into the world and they are participating in the world, they are collecting coins from people that fill them up, right? So as they go out into the world and they interact with people, they are collecting coins from people and filling up their cup and filling up their pocket, and that fills them up for the day. An introvert wakes up. So an extrovert wakes up in the morning with empty
I like this because I have never heard this.
I know. So check it out.
An
extrovert wakes up in the morning with empty pockets. And as they go throughout their day, they collect coins from all the interactions and the people that they run into, and they fill up their pockets. So when they get home at the end of the day, their heart, their pockets, their life feels full, their energy feels full. An introvert wakes up in the morning with full pockets, all of her energy, all of her coins in her pocket.
Just her?
Yes. It's right.
See how easy it is?
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
So Niner wakes up in the morning.
He, she, him, her.
Then they, it, we, those. Yes. So an introvert wakes up in the morning with full pockets. And as she goes out throughout her day, she gives her coins out. So when the introvert returns home, her pockets are empty, she is spent, and she is ready to check out and be on her own. So when I heard this analogy of an introvert and an extrovert, I was like, oh, I am for sure an extrovert. Rigo, I can wake up in the morning and have all kinds of feelings and thoughts and moods. And as soon as I get around the energy of other people, everything shifts and changes for me. Everything does. And I know that I am a little extra for people.
A little extra. You're an extrovert.
So yeah,
you're an extrovert.
Yeah. So those little introverts that are like handing out their coins, I probably take more than they want to hand me often.
I'm going to try to figure out how extrovert. Extrovert.
Get me a shirt of an extra.
Yeah, I have actually a custom shirt on that one of our friends, one of our viewers made for us, but it's so cold.
You can't wear it.
I can't wear it. Listen, the studio is in a studio.
Yeah.
It's in a warehouse-ish. So
yeah.
Sorry, guys. And it's got one heater, but if I try to cook this room, then the offices are going to be baked.
Sweating.
Yeah. So then they're not going to be happy with me. And I'm not going to show good qualities of a good leader. Okay. So extrovert. Listen, this is good. Under that pretense, then I would be an extrovert.
Yes.
But it's interesting that you put it that way. I'm glad that you shared it because I've never heard it that way. And I think you can understand this too, is I think as those of us who are out in these leadership roles, we're coaching, we're teaching, supposed to be setting examples. Like when nobody's like, we want to not talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Right. We want to shut down. Like I want to hide. I don't want to deal with anything. Leave me alone. Right. Because I just spent hours talking and chatting and guiding and advising and answering questions. It's almost like, you ever notice how really good mechanics typically have like crappy cars?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, maybe they just like working on them. I don't know. I just always noticed that like the really good mechanics, like the car whisperers. We have a couple of car whisperers. They're amazing what they can do to our vehicles, but they have like these old clunkers. It's almost like they don't care. They don't want a car. Like they work on cars all day long. They don't care.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? Is that makes sense?
It does, but I also think too, like it's different when you like if I'm serving and producing, that's going to take a different level of leadership and brain energy and things like. And I'll be honest with you, when I'm done with work, there are days where I cannot say another thing because my client check-ins I talk from 6 o'clock in the morning till sometimes 6 or 7 o'clock at night. By 8 o'clock at night, I'm done. Like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to see anybody. I want to hear anybody. I want to go into my room by myself and go to bed and wake up the next morning and start again. So I do think that even if you are an extrovert, it's important to have that time where you can sit by yourself. I have found that that's something that I've had to work on, is that I didn't used to take the time to be by myself. And so then I was constantly like all over the place with everyone and everything. And I have found that in order to make sure that I am a healthy extrovert, that I still have that quiet time, that downtime for myself, like an introvert.
Interesting. Okay. So you put a comment here and wrong one. Sorry. What are you guys? You know what? I think that's great. Right now, do us a favor, drop it in the comments. Let us know. Are you an introvert or extrovert? We're not going to get into this too much, but I think this is actually kind of important because we're talking about leadership. Isaac Alexander says it's ironic because he's in sales for a living. And I've known Isaac a long time, and he's been in sales as long as I've known him.
Yeah.
But I get it, right? Like 10 minutes before this show, I could have been doing somersaults and cartwheels, or I could have been telling everybody to leave me alone. That's the thing, is a lot of times before sales calls, before events, before I get on stage, if anybody knows me, before I go do big events, like I'm nervous, I'm sick.
But maybe that's just your game face.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's the adrenaline.
You get game gut, Rigo. Don't you lie.
Oh, I do. Oh yeah. I was, I wrestled, and before big tournaments, or when I'd go to, especially when you started getting into national type stuff, but I would puke.
Oh yeah.
All the time, before games, before anything, when I was fighting, like same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just nerves, I guess. But the thing is I need to get a focus on. Anybody ever seen Over the Top? So it's like I'm a machine, right? So you have to switch gears. Sylvester Stallone would turn his hat. It's one of my favorite movies. Funny. It's a guy movie, I think. But we would turn the hat, and that's how I would get myself in the game. You have to switch things up in your mind. We're doing some training right now with some folks on really kind of building their personal profiles within LinkedIn. And, people have hard times with videos. And I'm like, you just got to look. It's a job. It's stop looking at it that it's, you can't, you're going to pick yourself apart, man. You're your worst critic. So you just got to get out there and do it. Because otherwise you're never going to get it done. Kind of one of the issues here. So let's get into it. 23 minutes, 19 seconds. We're finally going to drop some of the stuff here. So Donnie, I want you to run through this for me. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa. Slow down. All right. Number 1, are you goal oriented?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the first question. Number 2, are you confident? Number 3, are you knowledgeable and curious? I think this is a good one. Curious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 4, are you efficient? And number 5, do you adapt to change easily? All right. So that's what we're going to be getting to. Let's get in. Number 1, are you goal oriented? Do you want me to read the notes on this one? So I've got some comments on it. It said the notes on this was, a good leader seeks to achieve targets and is aware that in order to achieve his goals, he has to devise a daily plan. He or she, I did it right on that one.
Yeah, you
knows how to organize his or her team and how to get the best work out of each of them. Unless you went in and fixed it. Did you fix this?
I did not fix them. No.
Okay, I'm really proud. Give me a round of applause.
Yes.
Applause. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I'm proud of myself on that one. I am not happy that it's so cold in here.
So Rigo,
number 5. What?
This one, right? So just listing off these 5 things, right?
Yeah.
So like when we think about good and bad leaders, like okay, not so good leaders that are bad, right? Like, I don't know that, Saddam Hussein or Hitler sat down and said like, hey, let's whiteboard these goals out. Like, here's the,
Let me show you the flow.
Yeah,
I'm going to do a flow chart of how this is going to work out over the next 17 years.
Maybe they did, like, just in an evil Knievel kind of way. I don't know.
Listen, every evil villain has a master plan.
They do.
They do. And that's usually their demise, right? Is they have to tell the hero their master plan. And what do you call that? Dialoguing? Come on. The monologue. It's the monologue, right? It's the evil villain monologue that always gets them, right? The hero's always counting on that little extra gap of time for some miracle to save them out of the situation, right?
Yeah.
That monologue. So I don't know, Krista. Maybe they do. Listen. I think when it comes to,
here's my point, though. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
No, you need to.
They probably have goal orientation, right? But here's the thing. If somebody comes to me and they go, hey, we're going to murder all of these people. This is my goal so that we can take over the world. I'm going to go, no, thanks. I'm out. But there has to be leadership persuasion. Like, it can't just be like they're so good at goal setting that everybody's like, wow, those are amazing goals. Let's do that. Like, it has to be goal setting with some persuasive and manipulation. And then on the flip side, even good people, like good goal, good leaders, there has to be this ability to persuade and not manipulate, but convince with the goal. Because setting the goal enough is not going to be enough. Lots of people set really great goals and make zero progress and leadership towards it.
Well, setting goals, setting goals and being goal oriented, I think are two different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being goal oriented means you're actually achieving these goals, right? And so they're understanding how to make these small steps to get there.
Yeah.
And so when you look at somebody within a leadership role, and I think goal setting is become a very common aspect. To me, if we want to elaborate on this, are you goal oriented? A lot of us can be goal oriented. I think you made a comment there that needs to be pointed out. It's are you executing?
Yeah.
Right? Can you execute goals? Because sometimes being a good leader doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be your goals. Remember, we talked about entrepreneurship and how we listen. A lot of the things we're bringing up here, guys, is going to be focused on both on the entrepreneur and entrepreneurial side. Like, we really want to help both ends with information. And, a lot of times in my own experiences, and I know in yours as well, we can have a common goal.
Yep.
So as an employee, even as a business owner, my client's goal has to become my goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to have a common goal. We set the standards or the what we want to do. And so, yeah, I can be goal oriented, but how well can we execute on those goals? Dave Reese says buy-in. That's exactly what I was about to get to. Yeah. And you nailed it. It's, can we get a team to buy in on the goal? Because that, I believe, then will define the rest of the steps, because there's going to be effort that needs to be placed into it. So I guess if we wanted to wrap that up, Krista, how would you put it? If we're looking at goal oriented or being goal driven or being able to execute, how would you put that point number one in identifying a good leader?
I think that not only do they follow through has to happen, right? Like, they have to have a record of walking the walk, talking the talk, and having follow through in order for the people that they are leading to buy in and to execute whatever their role is in achieving that goal, right? Because a leader is going to set the goal, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily pushing through every piece of the goal. It means that they're delegating and that they're leading and allowing other people to step up. And if there is not buy-in and they don't see this leader doing the thing, then my guess would be that you're not going to have great followers. And in order to be a good leader, you have to have really great followers. Otherwise, you're leading nobody.
Leading the blind is what they say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that at my house.
Yeah. I'm not
getting cats leading the blind. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So
yes.
Moving on. Number two.
Connie,
are you confident? I believe that there needs to be a little add to this one as well. So let's talk about this. Do you want to go through the notes on this one, or you want me to?
Yeah, I'll rock it out. So to be in command of a company, a leader needs to demonstrate confidence so his or her, good work there, my friend, employees can feel secure working under him or her.
Under him or her. And I would add not just company. I did change that later. Sorry, I didn't get you that.
Okay,
update.
I didn't get the update.
Yeah, company or team.
Or team.
Or team, because not everybody runs a company. Again, when I wrote this, it's okay. Sorry.
It worked.
Yeah.
So
you guys get it.
I have a few thoughts on confidence, but I want to hear.
No. You first. You first.
Me first.
Yeah. You first. I like your thoughts better than my own.
You do? Okay, because I get a little.
I can go.
I get a little sweaty.
You want me to go? I'll go.
Yeah.
While
go ahead.
you're toasting it up in Arizona and I'm freezing in Kansas. All right. So, see, to me, I think confidence comes in humility. And so for me, one of the things I aspire to be as much as I can is having that balance of confidence, which if you're not careful, translates into ego and cockiness. So if I have a blend of confidence and humility, I think that's where strength comes from in leadership, is understanding, I saw this interview from Shaquille O'Neal. Always blows me away when you're seeing some of these people that were stars to us when we were, coming up in our younger years, Krista, sports players specifically. And then you see after they did their term in the sports arena, for us, you don't really hear much about them. And some of them do some movies, but it's interesting how many of them have become businessmen or women and actually quite successful.
Yeah.
And it's really inspiring for me because they approach things in such a different way than I see most typical business people do. And it's not so completely different to where it's a whole nother path, but it's just the way they approach it, I guess, right? The other way to skin a cat, they say. And it was interesting because he had talked about understanding that when he chose the team members, he had to be okay with allowing them to fail in different areas. And he had to trust that they were either going to do it or not. And I think Buddy Cummings talked about this as well. Him and Nikki both when we had them on. But it's this is the area for me that I think is really important, is not are you confident, but are you willing to show humility? And so I think if you are willing to show humility, it makes you more confident, right?
Yeah.
You see where I'm going? So for me, that's where I'm at on my thought on this one. Go ahead.
Totally. And I think that confidence is built within yourself and built within your team, more importantly, or the people that you are overseeing, when you can take extreme ownership. You know that I and my family are a huge fan of Jocko Willink, and he has a book and it's called Extreme Ownership. And that's one of our family's favorite books, right? And also right now we are in the middle, and he preaches on that. Like, listen, you might not be, the reason why things went bad, but you are, how you react and how you take care of what went right or wrong is up to you as a leader, right? And so we're in the middle of watching The Man in the Arena too. If you guys have not watched Tom Brady's story, it is fascinating. Like, talk about the greatest of all times when it comes to—
Not a Tom Brady fan.
Dude, listen,
he's a goat. He's a goat. Like,
he's
a goat.
Listen, I was not a Tom Brady fan either till I started watching Man in the Arena. And one of the things that he said is, you are not always responsible for what happens to you. Life is not fair. What happens to you is not fair, but you are always responsible for how you react.
All right.
Always.
This is another point here that I think we need to make.
Okay.
Not every leader that can teach you something needs to be likable.
No, right.
I don't listen. If somebody said you can be Tom Brady, I'd be like, I'm good. I don't like him. I don't like him at all. I don't like LeBron James. I don't like a lot of these guys. In fact, I despise them. But I'm not stupid.
Yes.
And I understand that good leadership qualities don't always have a lot to do with a person's personality. You see, I have particular areas, and that for me is if you get into that place, it's a no-go. It doesn't mean I won't talk to you.
Sure.
Doesn't mean I won't work with you. It just means I'm not interested in letting you be a part of my life.
Yeah.
And so somebody could say, "Oh, that's dumb." Well, that's just me. It doesn't mean I won't learn from them. I listen and read from people that I don't think I could ever work for. And I think that's a mistake that people make is they would look at somebody, I don't like them. And I'm calling myself out here because you said Tom Brady. I'm just like, patient.
Shut down.
Like, right away. Yeah. And you're like, I don't want to hear from them. Maybe somebody gets on the show. They see me, they see you. They're really scared of your guns because you're like, boom. And they're like, I don't know about these.
Shots fired.
Done. But the thing is that we can find people, and yeah, we're going to have personalities that will click with better than others. But we would be foolish not to take, again, skill sets and understanding of learning. When you look at good or bad people that influenced our history and culture, there's tactics that they use to get out there and influence the masses, to influence people in their life, to get people to believe, and like Dave said, to buy in on their dream or their vision. As an entrepreneur, that's probably one of the biggest things we're always having to do, is because we're not going to do a lot of things right. We're developing our processes and systems. I make mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm as honest as I can be every single time with my clients going, I thought that was going to work.
Yeah.
Or something happened and I had a lot of weight in this area or on this individual. Now that person's gone and I have to do cleanup because I'm not a huge organization and it takes me more than a couple days. I was reading a report. The average time for all these larger companies to implement a stay-at-home work was 17 days. It was one of the biggest fears that it would take 3 to 4 months in order to move people from an at-work environment to a remote environment. And I was looking at this. It's in fact, I have it up. I cannot wait to do a video on this thing because the data was awesome. John McKay dropped that. Thank you very much, sir. He put that in LinkedIn late last night. And the report was from McKinsey & Company. Great survey. But yeah, it was like 17 days was the average response time in getting it completely in a place where they could work,
function.
And it took a couple months after that, though, to get it completely done. But they were on the cloud. They had Zoom. I mean, that's why Zoom went from 10 to 300 and something million, right?
Wild.
In 30 days.
Wild.
Like, it was nuts. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So I also think too, Rigo, going back to the confidence thing. So to go back to what you just said about learning and understanding that as an entrepreneur, you're going to fail more often than not. But awkwardly enough, that failure is what leads to confidence in your ability to problem solve and overcome. When I was a younger athlete and I was growing into my sport and then going into college and playing, this was not something that was taught to me as a young creative. Because even if you're an athlete, you're still creative. You have to be creative in the way that you manage your team and you lead with your team and you create plays and execute the plays. And that was not something that was ever taught to me. And that was really, really difficult. But I think that going full circle, that's the humility, the failing forward, the picking yourself back up and continuing to try again, even after being shut down a bunch of different times. And so I do think that there has to be a level of confidence that is not arrogance when it comes to being a leader, and being okay with humiliating yourself and doing something really wrong and coming back, taking ownership, and then leading in another direction or saying, let's do it this way and let's give this a go.
So what do you guys think? That's what I want to know. We got some good comments coming in.
Yeah, Paul threw something up about confidence.
Let's take a look. Donnie, you want to pull that up for me? I'm going to drop in something here. Question of the day. Do you think that leadership can be taught? I should probably spell that right. Go ahead, Krista. Why fix
Yeah.
this?
So Paul says, without confidence and initiative, leaders are simply workers in leadership positions. And we see that often, right? We see people who are in positions that they don't ever bring anything new to the table. They don't bring innovation. They don't bring ideas. They just continue to maintain in their role and maintain where people are. And that is somebody who does not have leadership, in my opinion, qualities in a position, and they don't know how to level it up or how to inspire other people to help level that position up. And so, yeah, I agree, Paul. I think that's a really great insight.
So that's the question. Do you think that leadership can be learned or is it natural? Really, really want to know. Okay, so we're going to get into number 3. Donnie, you want to put that up for us? And that is, are you knowledgeable and curious? So when we talked about this, the notes that I had put in was knowledgeable and curious is a critical element to leading an organization or a team. A leader's eagerness to increase their knowledge of the industry or their skill set, and the current way that they influence projects and how they motivate their team to do the same, I think is very, very important. He or she would also be informed of any updates that may influence the company. So this kind of goes into influential leadership. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of like what we do in terms of organic marketing.
Yeah.
And by the way, little plug, if you have not joined our community, we'd love to have you join. So if you're in the North American region, you can text lunch to 316-799-8052. And if you just want to know more about what we do and how we help from both either myself or Krista, just let us know what you want to know more of, and we will help you in any way we can. So
yeah.
From a performance level for women who are looking to achieve more and help others and getting into that position to learn how to coach women, that is what Krista does, and learning and understanding how to create influential marketing and organic lead generation through leveraging platforms like LinkedIn. That's what I do. So anyways, that was our little plug. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I like it.
All right. Are you? Yeah, that's it.
Classy, Rigo.
Listen, I ain't got time. I ain't got time for nothing. Listen, I'm trying to get this show done, and we have like less than 20 minutes left.
I know. Let's rock.
Are you knowledgeable and curious?
Yeah.
So I think this is absolutely important. One of my struggles is the lack of curiosity from people in a position. Dave says, if you're not curious, you'll likely not gain more knowledge. Absolutely. I agree. If you're in Europe, yeah, you're funny. I'm going to go with Paul. Sorry, Paul.
Dinner.
So, awesome. That's funny, actually. So when I look at this and I think about curiosity, the thing that I struggle with is my team will tell you I spend a lot of time all day, every day. I'm constantly listening to podcasts. I'm watching videos. I'm looking at what's getting out there. I'm looking at ways to get influenced. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly engaging. I'm reading audiobooks right during the day through the audio aspect of it. I'm doing reading at nights, articles, reading books. I jump around quite a bit, but I'm constantly curious as to understanding how to be better. I walked in this morning. Have you seen the new Pepsi commercial that they dropped for the Super Bowl?
No, I haven't.
Pretty awesome. So if I'm from the West Coast, so I'm pretty excited about this. I'm not a Super Bowl fan. If you guys haven't figured this out by now, I love sports. I love collegiate sports more than anything. Do not have a lot of respect for professional sports. It lost its flair for me like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 20. But anyways, I still think that sports is pretty incredible and what it did for me in my life. But I was pretty excited about this. More than anything was the composition of how they put it together. And I came in, I showed the team, and they thought it was cool, right? But to me, like, I got excited. Mm-hmm. And so I love that kind of stuff. I love watching creativity hit. I love when I watch what an artist can do. I love when I see what a really creative marketing team or sales team does when they get creative and they work out ways of engaging with clients and doing it in a way that's honorable, right? Because there's nothing wrong with capturing someone's attention and helping them by bringing your value to them. That's the whole point of life here, right? Like you have a product, service, value, you offer it to somebody and they trade for that value something. And today that's called money, right? 2,000 years ago would have been a sheep or something.
Yeah. Or right? Your daughter. It's fine.
Yeah, or your
I want that land. Here's my child.
It's funny because my daily reading today was in Genesis and it was with Judah. Like
I was too.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, that was the whole daughter
thing. I'll work for you for 7 years. You can have my daughter.
Yeah. That's so funny. Okay. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Anyways, so when you said that, I laughed because I'm like, yeah, or your daughter. Yeah, you can do that. That's right. Historically, that is true. So are you knowledgeable and curious? So Christy, your thoughts. And then I really want to know, I'm guessing that's Paul with his sarcasm, his Irish sarcasm. I'm curious about knowledge. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. I just realized I missed a really cool comment from Isaac, but sorry, dude, we're past that one.
That's all right. So there is I cannot think of his name right now. He was a founder of Quest Nutrition, and he has this concept. It's called just-in-time learning. And so I think that good leaders and they know just enough to get people to the next step as they figure out, as their curiosity allows them to figure out the next level for their people and who they're leading, right? So it's called just-in-time learning. And so I think there's this misconception.
I live on just-in-time learning. I function. I think it's a drink. It's called just-in-time.
Yes. And so listen, I think the misconception is that good leaders know everything, that they know from A to X, Y, Z, LMNOP, all the things. And a true leader and somebody, they know just enough to get them to the next level as they are learning what that next level looks like. And so, I definitely think that curiosity has to be a piece of that, but I don't think that your knowledge has to be like, NASA status. I think it can be one level above the people that you're leading.
That is such a great, that's a great comment there, Krista, and so important that you mentioned that because again, working with a young team, I hear myself talk a lot. Dave said, Tom.
Yes, Bill you. Yeah. Thank you, Dave.
But I find myself teaching them things that I had really taken for granted because it just became a part of my life. So it's actually been good. It's been helping me learn how to simplify myself. And I mean this in no disrespect, boys. Okay. But learning how to dumb it down. Okay. And not because they're dumb, but learning how to simplify a simple lesson or message that needs to be learned so they can move to the next step. It's allowed me to take better inventory of my own thoughts and processes in how I approach things with my clients.
Yeah.
And we've changed our entire program and process into what we're doing into the market multiple times. Kristen, you know this, like 3 times in the last 6 months. It's because you find that simple can be better. What did we talk about just a couple months ago? KISS.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
Keeping it simple allows people to grow because there is a time where, I had this conversation with another peer yesterday is right now we're in a growth stage. By the way, we're going to be 4 years old here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. About to have our 4-year-old.
I love it.
Anniversary, birthday. I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
I like it.
Yeah. So it's exciting. A pivotal point for us is going to be getting to that 5-year marks where I want to get, and I want to get into double-digit millions. That's our goal.
Yep.
So, right. So we've got a lot that we've got to get to, but as a small company, it's it's recognizing that we're in a growth stage. And as a leader, I need to help them get past each step. And so I started recognizing, you know what, from here on out, we're going to do this every 2 hours. You guys are going to check in with me 5-10 minutes. I'm going to help you guys get to the next step.
Yep.
And we're just going to keep doing this until you start to learn certain habits and understanding. And then we're going to get to the next place. And we're going to get to a point where someday I'm going to need the right COO, the right CEO to take my company from a 10 to 100 million.
Yep.
Right? Because my goal here is understanding that I'm here to build my company into the next few phases, but it's going to be someone else's job to move it even further. So I love that you mentioned that, because a leader is not somebody that is all knowing. It's knowing what needs to be done, but is always seeking the next steps and is knowledgeable and curious, which means I'm happy to go watch a documentary from a football player I could care less about if I can learn something that I can implement in my team and myself that'll help us get to the next step, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's being open to that, right? It's being open to the different ways, even when, because here's the deal. I help women lose weight and find confidence in the skin that they're in. And if I become dogmatic in my approach to that, I am going to push away a whole, batch of women that I could really show up and influence. And there isn't one way to do 99% of the things in this world and to be good at it. And so if we become dogmatic and shut out because we shut curiosity off and we shut learning new things, new ways, technology is always taking us to another level, then you kind of get left in the dust. And a leader that gets left in the dust is no longer a leader. They are somebody who got left in the dust. And that's just not ever going to be where I want to be as a leader, right?
Agreed. All right. So with a few minutes left, let's get into number 4.
Let's do it.
Are you efficient? You want to get the notes on this one?
Yeah. So a good leader
probably, by the way, this is like the one I disagreed with.
Okay.
Well, and I know why you didn't like. This is the one I didn't like on the list.
I know why you disagree with it. Because I would say that
what?
That you are efficient in a Rigo kind of way.
Yeah, thank you, Dawn. Out.
So listen, but I got something for you. Okay? A good leader is able to gauge how much time should be devoted to a task to minimize efficiency. They know to delegate work to those best suited for each task. And so here's the deal.
Yes, that was my little delegate.
Yeah. You got to delegate it.
Well, listen, you have to know your weaknesses.
You do. And so I'm very system and process oriented, and I follow those, and I am very habitual in how I do things. I like habits. I like systems. I like processes. That I think that you can be inefficient as a leader, but you have to have people next to you, close to you, who are doing that for you if it is not a skill set that you have. I don't think that it has to be something you're very good at in order to be a good leader. I think that this is where you can have help in being a good leader. My opinion, my thought, because like you, Rigo, my brain's a little scattered too. I got a lot coming in, and sometimes it's hard for me to put it and organize it where it needs to go. So I have people that help me do that because I'm not great at that, right? And they're really good at that. But I still think that I'm a good leader because I can acknowledge that and I can put those pieces into place.
So, it almost, I wonder if this was just worded differently, because efficiency is a skill set. Being well organized, being able to do that, like there are people that are very, very good at this.
Very good. They can see it spatially, even in written word. They can see it in shapes and objects. Interior designers see space completely different than you and I would, right?
I almost want to, I'm pulling up the job description. I want you to hear this. Okay. Because I think you'll laugh. As I was doing this yesterday and putting in the last of the notes, in some of the key functions, right?
Yeah.
The key functions, and what I had put in there is being able to essentially develop, organize. I used a bunch of fancy words to say, you're going to need to know how to babysit a grown man in helping. Well, I didn't say man, I said manager.
Yes.
In understanding that, you're probably going to have to really help this manager stay on point, because, you know, my role in what I do is a lot of creativeness. Is I'm always looking down the road on how I can keep growing, get better, and how we can continue to serve our clients better and expanding the team. And I'm pushing them always to see, okay, great, you got that figured out. Now, how do you do it in 2 hours or less? Okay, God, you got that. How do you do it in less than an hour? Right. How do we keep becoming more efficient, more effective, more productive? Because that's what I'm looking at. But when I look at number 4, are you efficient? It almost feels like, do you understand your own weaknesses and strengths is what I would be looking at, because being efficient, I think, is a skill set. Understanding efficiency and knowing how to delegate things properly, and also having to recognize, goes back to my other comment of having humility and understanding that, look, I have weaknesses. I'm never going to be good at this. I need help. I need help.
Yeah, it's not letting your ego get in the way of your efficiency, right? So we don't claim that we're efficient and we're so good with our time and we're very organized when we're not, and then things fall apart and it doesn't work, and then we're frustrated with our team or frustrated with our coworkers, when we're like, wait, you didn't have enough humility or ownership or insight to know that this is not your strong suit. I hired a house manager because I work from home. This is my office in my house. And it's funny because when I hired her, she is a retired developmental preschool teacher. And so she's like, I've worked with kids for 30 years. I'm really good with kids. And I was like, oh, no. You will not be babysitting children. You will be babysitting me. I need to be babysat. I need to be kept on point. And like she's very good with children, she's very good with an adult as well. So I think it's wise for you to find somebody to kind of keep you like moving where ego needs to go.
Well, yeah, right? I told Michelle, we need to find somebody that taught probably middle school. Or maybe beginning like in high school. She goes, why that? I go, because they're used to obnoxious, way too much energy personalities. If they can deal with 30, 35 preteen, adolescent, my God, I hate those 3 years of a child's life, period. The worst. Then I'm going to be a dream.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a dream. All right, let's get into this real quick. Number 4, but I do want to point this out. Paul had put out, he said, efficiency is doing the right thing. I didn't think about it that way. That's a really good way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Donnie, number 5. Sorry, number 5. Do you adapt to change easily? This goes back to shifting. This is not to be my favorite, and I do believe in a top 5. This has to be there. If you cannot adapt to change, you are not going to be effective as a leader. Leader should always be active and eager to improve. Moreover, he or she should be able to adjust easily to unexpected changes when they happen. Good or bad news in the world, doesn't matter. None of this should be affecting you. You should be able to shift and pivot, which we talked about, shifting. And when you're the advanced level, you're always looking at innovation that you're implementing and R&Ding, because when something shifts and changes, like these organizations that were ready and adaptable. I had this conversation with a current client. The difference between companies like Zoom and all the other, I've even forgotten who they are. That's how crazy that is. These other video platforms, the GoToMeetings, all these other types of platforms. The reason why Zoom has become the cultural word for it.
Yeah, it's like Q-tip.
It's like, I'm on a Netflix and chill. Everybody does digital now, right? But you say, I'm going to grab net, like it's become iconic, and Zoom did that. How did they do that? They prepared their infrastructure for what if overnight the entire population of the United States decides to go onto our platform. Virtual. Everybody else crashed.
Yeah.
Zoom handled a 10 to over 300 million person influx in less than 30 days and didn't skip a beat.
Yeah, I do feel like good leaders are natural problem solvers. They were the kids at school who, like, when an issue came up, or they were always trying to solve for a better answer. I feel like I am a really incredible problem solver, but this also bites me in the butt, Rigo, because in my relationships, I tend to take more because like women will say, well, I come to my husband and I want to vent to him about blah, blah, blah. And he tries to solve all of my problems. Well, I am that person in my female relationships and in my relationship with my mom. And so I have to ask my girlfriends, hey, are you coming to me to like lend an ear? Am I just listening, or am I problem solving for you? Because as soon as you start telling me what your issue is, I have 52 ideas on how you could fix it, navigate it, shift it, and go into the right direction and a better direction for you. And so I really have to set that up front with friends and family. Like, are you wanting me to solve a problem for you, or am I just listening? But I do think that when you are a leader and you're an entrepreneur, it is incredibly important for you to be able to problem solve efficiently and effectively and not let something bleed into weeks at a time before you address it. I think that, like you said, I think number 5 would be in my top like 2. Right? Like,
yeah,
that is really important.
These weren't in, by the way, these weren't in order of importance,
Mm-hmm.
but I agree with you. To me, that was like one of the biggest things is can you adapt?
Especially in this world. Social media marketing and being online and virtual, technology and everything is changing so fast. Like, if you don't hop on the reels, if you don't hop on the TikTok, if you don't like all the things that come out, if you
listen, I just told the client, I was like, look, whether you want to hear this or not, the only thing better in growing organic inbound traffic, there is nothing better right now than TikTok. The second is LinkedIn.
I mean, I don't want to do TikTok. I don't want to do Reels.
Guess what? Guess where your clients are at, right?
I know. I've got a batch coming. Listen, it doesn't, and that's the other thing too, right? I do things I don't want to do. I'm not excited to do, because I know that this is the change. This is the shift. And so that too, like, hey, am I excited about putting a bunch and mouthing words and being silly and acting? No, not necessarily.
I mean, Kristen, I didn't want to go live. I didn't want to do a live show.
Right. And right, like IGTV was a really big thing for a long time. And people were, as soon as it came out, I was like, yep, here we go. Turn on the video. Let's go. And so you just have to be willing to do the uncomfortable, because that's the direction that it's all moving in,
I love it. Okay, so we'll recap. I think we might have to maybe get in this a little bit more. So, but number 1, are you goal oriented? Number 2, having confidence as a leader. Number 3, being knowledgeable and curious. Number 4, being efficient and effective. Being effective. Yeah. I think that I should have added that in there. Being efficient, effective. Yeah. And number 5, and I think we're both absolutely cheering this one on. And how do you adapt? So can you adapt quickly and to change easily? John Maxwell had put in an interview that he did, and I love this. He said, in the past, a leader, we talked about this a few months back, but a leader was somebody who was able to envision and go down into the future, look and say, this is the vision of our company, of our team, and look at this broad horizon, look at 4 or 5 years or longer down the path. And times have changed to such a degree that the effective and more efficient leader today is the one who can move the fastest, who can adapt the fastest, because we are changing methodologies and technology and everything else to such a degree that if you are not adapting and shifting into how we reach our consumer with our value, understand this. If you are on this platform, then your focus is you are either an entrepreneur building yourself within an organization. You're either looking for one to go to aspire to get into. You are somebody who's growing a sales organization or team. You're here to learn. You're here to connect. You're an entrepreneur. You're either offering service, value, doesn't matter, or you are the consumer looking to find service value. This is our circle of life. So if you are here or you are on YouTube watching, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You've come to this place to grab value. We have to understand that our goal and responsibility as the one, especially bringing value, is knowing where are your consumers at. That's all you need to be center focused in.
Yep.
It's consumer based. Where are they looking and searching and seeking attention or seeking information? That's where you need to drive yourself for that attention. That's how you're going to be able to bring your value, product or service to them. And then you can grow from there. So anyways, listen, I love this topic. I did not think, I did not think this was going to go this long. I didn't think, I'm honest. I was struggling.
You were worried we were going to run out of stuff to talk about.
I'm like, I don't know, 5 things, I guess. I don't know. We'll do that. I've got like I said, I got some posts. I didn't even drop the post. I was like, nobody cares.
You know us better than that, friend.
Listen, I just have my days, right? I have my days. Krista, can you do TikToks for our company, please?
Yes.
You should. Hey, I'll rent you out.
Wow.
I said rent. Okay. That's what?
What?
All right, listen. Thank you very much for being here with us again. Krista, thank you so much. My lovely co-host. Donnie, please give Krista a round of applause. She's awesome.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you, Paul. We appreciate it. For those of you guys who are here supporting us each and every week, it means a lot. Listen, every week on Thursday, 1 p.m. Central Time, rain or shine, we'll be here. We're getting a lot better at this too. So Chris has got some big things coming up next week. So no worries. We've got 36, 35, something like that. She's got a big important birthday coming up in her life. So I'm excited for her, and she's got some things going. We have some special guests in February. We just booked 2 of them. I need to get you in on board with us. 2 really great guests, and we're going to probably bring some others back that we've all enjoyed, especially when Krista will be gone for her birthday. I'm going to need somebody on the show to help me because I'm going to have withdrawals. So, anyways, listen, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Krista, any last words? And
no, you guys just keep showing up and letting us pour into you. It's great to see you guys every week, and we really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Hey, listen, take care, be blessed, and we'll talk to you next week. Donnie, I got the outro, or you got it? All right, talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.